Want to be like George Jetson, buzzing around in your own flying car contraption? Well, let us introduce you to something called an auto gyro, kind of a cross between a helicopter and a plane. We were introduced to this 21st century personal aircraft at Bird's Adventure Center in the Ozarks near Cass. The auto gyro is all German engineering, and they're made in Germany, but this is not your gyrocopter from the 1950s.
Yeah, the old Benson, see, the gyro's been out like 15 years after fixed wing, but they were just very dangerous. You know, they had one place, the old Bensons, and the motor's high, and a lot of people killed themselves. And they didn't get a lot of training, and they had, you know, one of the things that's different between the new generation and the old generation gyro is the heavy rotors on top. The blades on top before were real light because they started them by hand. Well, we got a pre-rotator, we got heavy weight, heavy blades, and they had the inertia to keep going if you pull some negative G's. So that saved a lot of people. And then you have your center line thrust and a big horizontal stabilizer on the tail. So that makes them a whole lot safer than the old gyros.
So enough of just watching, time to get strapped into this Jetson flying machine.
You want to be able to breathe.
Okay. This is true open cockpit here.
Uh-huh. That's the front.
Okay. New way to explore Arkansas, folks. And just to make sure we cover all angles, got the chuck cam, see?
All right. Clear.
Clear.
One of the extraordinary things about the auto gyro, and this is where it gets its name from, is that the top rotor is not powered. Instead, an engine-powered propeller is used for thrust, and the rotor is actually an auto rotation to develop lift.
Correct. Yeah, you know, it's just powered starting off the pre-rotator. We get about 200 RPM. Then the difference between a helicopter and a gyro, a helicopter pushes air through and goes forward. We're leaning the blade back and the air is blowing this way. So the air pushing makes it go faster and faster. Then it gets to about 300, 320, we start lifting off the ground. And you got positive air pressure that's making it go, and the whole time you're flying. But I can be going 100 and stop, spin it around because I got air coming this way, then when I stop, I'm sinking, I got positive air coming up. So then I can spin it around, take off.
So the only thing you can't do versus a helicopter is take off vertically and land vertically.
Correct. Correct.
So how did you get involved in this?
Well, I've been flying powered parachutes for about 18 to 19 years. And we sold out, I was a dairyman. And we sold out of the dairy business about 6 years ago. And I wanted to be instructor all the time. I wanted to make a living doing this. So I thought about weight shift, and I didn't really care too much about that. Fixed wing instructors are kind of a dime a dozen. Then I went to the gyro convention, the PRA in Mentone. And the guy told me there, the president of the company said, if you become an instructor, you'll be busy all the time because there's new generation of gyros. And he was correct. I'm very busy.
What thrill do you get out of it? I mean, it's like having a hot rod up in the air.
Oh, it is. And see, one thing that's so neat about it is any wind condition. You know, like I've been doing these powered parachutes for so long, yeah, they got their place too, but you know, I've had students that come down from up north and we'll sit there for 3 days and look at each other and we can't fly. But if the wind's blowing 25, 30 miles an hour, we still fly. So it's just like you said, a hot rod in the air.
By the way, the open cockpit auto gyro is only one of the model types. There are two other models with a covered cockpit, with the Elite model having side-by-side seating. So, how easy is it to learn how to fly one of these gyroplanes?
Really, it's a little easier than you think it is. Because, like I was telling some of the guys here, that on a powered parachute, you got that delay when you're trying to learn to fly. And I've had a student I trained that had 10,000 hours in 747s, and he was struggling because he said that flying a big jet, when you move it, it responds, and you can feel that and learn from that. Well, in a powered parachute, it's kind of a delay. This is like flying a jet almost. You know, you move it, it responds, and you can learn from that. And you don't have to worry about it stalling out like a regular airplane. So that makes it a whole lot safer.
That is the most awesome experience. I mean, I thought the power parachute flight that we did several years ago was awesome. This is something else, just like having your own little mini chopper to fly around in and explore Arkansas.
After watching how much fun I had flying around in the auto gyro, videographer Michad Holliday couldn't stand it any longer. So he too took off in the wild blue yonder. And wouldn't you know it, Michad even did one up on me by showing out with an aerial stunt or two. Yep, we're calling him the auto-crazy gyro man. All in a day's exploration. Artist Point along Highway 71, about 8 miles north of Mountainburg, has long been a favored place for motorists to stop and take in the spectacular views. Because it has been a favorite spot with artists and photographers alike, it's been known simply as Artist Point. There's also a gift shop here which features a variety of unique items including homemade jams and jellies, plus a small museum with some interesting Indian artifacts. Now, the scenery at Artist Point is spectacular enough, but if you're the more adventurous type and are up to it, we suggest exploring along Artist Point Trail, which will eventually take you to Artist Point Falls. The trail begins to the right of the gift shop and first goes down an old roadbed. This first section of the trail is covered on both sides with kudzu vine, sometimes referred to as the vine that ate the South. Kudzu is a non-native plant that was first introduced to the United States in 1876. As you make your way down to the first of several switchbacks, off to your left will be a rock formation resembling a tomb. Look closely and you'll see some Indian hieroglyphs or markings carved into the rock. These markings are the first of a couple places along the trail where you can find them carved into the side of the bluff, along with other points of interest. The second marking is towards the end of the trail underneath a small bluff shelter. This one resembles more of a pictograph versus a hieroglyph. There's also a rock outcropping about midway along the trail known as Lover's Leap. It's a nice vantage point to take a breather and view the creek valley below. After about 6/10 of a mile, you'll hear the falls first before actually seeing them. And depending upon when you make your hike, the water flow will either be cascading nicely or barely coming down if you don't go right after a good rainfall. We might add that the hike back up is strenuous and steep. But even if you decide not to take the trail, the views from atop Artist Point are well worth a stop, especially during autumn. As pioneers and early settlers migrated west into Arkansas, the lower White River served as a primary transportation route, and opportunities in this unspoiled region were limitless.
It was the economy, basically, and the river is why people came here. I guess that was the only way you could get to Ozark, Arkansas from somewhere else, was to come by river in those days. And naturally, the people settled. They settled on the high bluffs, like the town of Ozark and DeVos Bluff, and on upriver Georgetown and Augusta, and down below you got Clarendon and St. Charles and so on. And I guess at one time it was it was the base of our economy here. The river was, as you mentioned, the fisheries, the shelling industry, several button factories that were made from those shells before plastic became the norm years ago. Timber, this was a heavily timbered area, and there was a lot of jobs, employment opportunities connected to that. There are what they call dummy lines all over this area. A dummy line is a railroad line that basically runs out into the woods or to some area and doesn't go anywhere else but there. And you can find traces of them in Prairie County and all over this country in East Arkansas, where they haul that timber out, built those rail lines and haul that huge timber out of here. Over the years, it's of course been transformed. In my earlier days, there were quite a few houseboats on the river, and people made a living fishing on the river, fishing, picking up pecans. The pecan gathering industry was a pretty large industry up and down the White River.
The Lower White River Museum State Park in Ozark covers a 100-year period of Arkansas frontier life from 1831 to 1931.
This was basically the steamboat era when most of the settlement and commerce happened in this area. Some of the early commerce of the area was agriculture and timber, and then eventually it moved up to pearling and shelling. And then we also, due to the river transportation coming into the area, brought in teachers, and we focus on education, and then also some of the doctors and physicians that came into the area.
The Civil War period is also, of course, covered here with the Ozark Rangers.
Yes, the Ozark Rangers were one of the groups of men that joined the Confederacy that left Ozark, and they were a cavalry unit. that became Company B of Churchill's 1st Mounted Rifles, and they joined up and left here about 100 men and went to Little Rock, and then their first battle was at the Battle of Wilson's Creek in Missouri.
Next door to the museum is a replica of a late 1800s log cabin.
The log cabin was a project for the volunteers did for the bicentennial, and it was they called themselves the Friends of the Log Cabin Museum, and they not only built the cabin, which is a reconstructed dog trot style cabin, but they also loaned items to furnish it. And we have a kitchen set up and a bedroom living set up.
So visitors can see what the little house on the prairie looked like.
Correct, and how the amenities they had and what they didn't have at that time, such as one of the things the children point out is they don't have refrigerators and microwaves, and so we tell them it was a little bit harder lifestyle in those early days.
What we were in the steamboat days, they're painted as being kind of romantic, you know, a great time to live, but most of those folks that lived back then, they lived a pretty bare existence before the days of electricity and all the other conveniences we have today. I like it better now with what we have, some air conditioning and screen doors and so forth, but it has changed drastically over the years, and I think it's always good to look back at that, and it's always good to think about where we come from. But I've told some people we can't dwell on that. What in the 50s and 60s, when Main Street was bustling on Friday and Saturday night, primarily on Saturday night, in all these little towns, we can sit and commiserate about it, you know, till we turn blue, and we're not going to go back to those days. That's not going to change. So with the internet, with the broadband access, there are ways to create some businesses in some of these remote areas that we didn't have years ago.
The Blue Spring Heritage Center near Eureka Springs is 250 acres of lush woodlands, native gardens, a bluff shelter, a historic mill site, portion of the Trail of Tears, and Blue Spring itself, which pours out at the rate of 38 million gallons a day. Blue Spring is located about 5.5 miles west of the Eureka Springs Historic District off Highway 62. Just look for the sign and County Road 210, which in fact ends at Blue Spring. The drinkable, clear water, protected valley, and good hunting and fishing have made Blue Spring an ideal site for humans since prehistoric times. Before there were Native American tribes in Arkansas, there were the Ozark Bluff dwellers.
That's exactly right. They went back 10,000 years ago. They were in here and they lived in the caves, and this is one of them here at our Bluff Shelter, which is now on the National Register of Historic Places. But in 1971, the university got the idea to come over and do a dig where the Bluff Shelter is now. And Robert Chanel with the Arkansas Archaeological Survey headed up that team with a bunch of university students. And they dug up artifacts going back 10,000 years. Now that's hard for people to believe, but that's what it is, and we have some of those artifacts in our museum now. But that's what they dug up, and that's 8,000 years before Christ, and that's a pretty good history. Tom Dillard did a story on it years ago about the bluff dwellers and stuff, and he and I communicated on it. He came up with the same thing that I did in his research and everything. So those people were here. We're not talking about the Cherokees and the Choctaws and modern American Native Americans. We're talking about people that lived here, centuries, thousands of years before them. So there's just a lot of history here. This place is so eat up with history you could cut it with a knife.
Located along the bluff shelter and the bluff line itself are hieroglyphs. Unlike pictographs, which were drawn with natural dyes, these carvings, according to some Native American historians, were an ancient form of writing. Hieroglyphs and petroglyphs were both used by indigenous people as visual indicators to let others from their nation know of happenings in the area. Also, these rock carvings or writings served as a lasting form of record keeping. Ozark Bluff shelters were used year-round. How is this possible in, say, the wintertime? Well, with the southern exposure, the bluff dwellers were shielded from north winds and received the warmth of the winter sun. Plus, the exposed outer portions of the shelter were most likely covered with skins or woven mats plastered with mud, helping to keep the inside warm and dry. What became of the Ozark Bluff dwellers is unknown. After living in the Ozark Mountains a long time, they seem to have just vanished, leaving few, if any, clues of their disappearance. For many years, the Osage claimed Blue Spring as their trading post.
It was a trading post, and the Indians, they call them the Strongboat Indians, and they floated down to New Orleans with their bear oil and beeswax, and that's what they did, and they traded their canoes in, and then they came back and I guess repeated it all over again. But it was a major trading post, and of course there have been 3 mills here. The last one was built in '03, corn mill, flour mill, grist mill, and people came from all over to get their corn ground, the farmers and stuff. And so this was a meeting place as well as a trading post, because back in those days there wasn't any electricity. Everything was done by mechanization, if you will, undershot mills, overshot mills, that type of thing, and the mill wheels and stuff. So it'd been quite a thing to see. I wish I could have seen it, but you can see a little bit over at War Eagle, I think.
In March of 1839, Blue Spring served as a stopover on the Trail of Tears for the Cherokee during their forced march from Georgia. 13,000 began the journey, and only 7,000 survived. During the early 1900s, water from Blue Spring was shipped by railroad to various parts of the country. It was known as the Eureka Blue Spring Water Company. There's also a medicine wheel garden at Blue Spring Heritage Center. The medicine wheel is a powerful spiritual and educational symbol which has an important function in many, if not most, Native American cultures. The medicine wheel garden at Blue Spring derives its colors and concepts from a Woodlands Native American version of the wheel. Blue Spring itself, though, remains quite the mystery because its source is unknown.
Nobody knows where it comes from. A lot of people have theorized maybe it comes from Alaska because when they had an earthquake in Alaska, it kind of muddied the water. I think that's where they got that. But it doesn't come out of Table Rock or Beaver Lake. It's unknown origin, and the divers went down, and the Nature Conservancy tested it in 2001, 2002. One of the purest springs in the region. It's drinkable pure. So it's 38 million gallons a day. It's the largest spring in northwest Arkansas, and very, very pure water, and lagoons full of trout, and people feed them and just have a big time with it.
In 2004, divers from Aquatic Cave Exploration began exploring Blue Spring and discovered it to be a vertical and very deep underwater cave system. Trying to overcome the challenges of the tight and narrow passageways, the divers are currently in the process of enlarging restrictions to allow entrance to even more of Blue Spring's mysterious depths. So explore and experience the Blue Spring Heritage Center for yourself. And for more on this destination, plus many of our others, or to order a copy of an episode, visit our website at aetn.org/exploringarkansas. And we'll see you again the next time for another exciting adventure on Exploring Arkansas.